We got a huge reaction to our town hall with President Trump last night, and he was gracious enough to sit down with us for a bonus round of questions. All right, President Trump, the Biden campaign has joined TikTok, even though the FBI says TikTok presents a massive national security threat. It's not on any government phones. You can't download it on the phones. You banned it while you were president. He lifted that ban. Are you worried that you're going to miss out on the young voters by not being on TikTok?
Well, right now I'm leading with the young voters by a lot. I think they want to see competence in office. They see this guy who can't put two sentences together. He literally, so if he were on this stage, he would not be able to figure out how to get off. Did you ever see it? He can't find the stairs. There's stairs all over the place. He can't find stairs. They want to see competence, much more so than being on TikTok. I believe that. TikTok, I was going to ban it permanently, but Congress didn't want to do it. I said, look, I'm going to do what you want to do in this case. And they didn't want to do it. They're pretty well taken care of. But I don't think it's going to matter for him.
You're extremely funny. I mean, you have a fantastic sense of humor. People who, don't know you personally sometimes don't see that because you're facing very serious challenges and a very serious election. How might you showcase your sense of humor during this campaign for, those people who might not be all that into politics?
I don't think I want to be a comedian with respect to the campaign. We have a country that's dying. We have a country it's a failing nation. I say it in my speeches. So it's a failing nation. We have a nation in decline. We are a nation in decline. I just don't think it's a subject that we're smiling too much about. When I see 18 million by the time he leaves, I think that's going to be the number. 18 million people coming in from places unknown. We have no idea who they are, but they are terrorists. We're going to have massive terrorism. We're going to have a big problem with terrorists. We're going to have a lot of problems. We have to get and especially the bad ones. And remember what I said, the local police force. You have a great family right there, the Hines family, sitting in the front row. They lost their daughter to an illegal alien that came in, and we threw him out, and he was gone. And he came back in, and their daughter was killed by an illegal immigrant that came in during the Biden administration. So sad. So I just don't see that much humor in what we're doing. This is a very serious charge, and this is a very serious thing I'm doing. And I don't want to be, if I start talking with a smile, they'll say, he smiled, because the fake news is just terrible. He smiled. What was he smiling about? And I don't really want to smile. I want to smile when we complete the task and make America great again. I'll smile.
You faced a lot of internal opposition in your first term, individuals who you believed really didn't have your same agenda, were not advancing your agenda, whether it was pulling troops out of foreign countries or other programs. So how would you guard against that in a second term? And would there be any people you would pull back from your former term in office who you might bring back to the cabinet?
We had a lot of great people. Lighthizer. There were so many, because you talk about our trade. We would just kill it on our trade. We had a lot of great people. I won't mention, but I could mention 20 names just right off the cuff. But we also had some that I wouldn't have used. The difference is, when I was elected, I was in Washington 17 times in my entire life, and I never stayed over. I wasn't a Washington person. So I had to rely on, in some cases, rhinos. In some cases, well-meaning rhinos, but they were recommending people. And some of the people I had, I wouldn't have used again. And now I know everybody. I know the good ones, the weak ones, the strong ones, the incompetent ones, the very smart ones that people don't know how smart they are. Those are the ones we like the best. But the fact is, I know the people now really well. Because, I won. I was a businessman. If you ever look at the charts, 92% of the people that became president were politicians. The other 8% were generals. So I was neither of them.
Could you work with Mitch McConnell if he's still in office? Obviously, you've butted heads, have different views on a lot of issues. But could you work with him in a new term if he was still in the Senate and still had a leadership position?
A lot of his so-called people have endorsed me, as you know, over the last little while. A lot of them have. Tremendous people like Steve Daines is a great guy. And actually, John Cornyn gave me an endorsement, which shocked the hell out of me, to be honest with you. But I was endorsed by a lot of people. And almost getting close to the entire Senate. He'll probably end up endorsing me also. I don't know that I can work with him. He gave away trillions of dollars that he didn't have to, trillions of dollars. He made it very easy for the Democrats. When I wanted to build a wall, I ended up building the wall. You know what I did? I took it out of the military. I said, this is an invasion of our country. That's how I built the wall. I said, this is an invasion. I'm taking it out of the military because you couldn't get it out of Congress. So I don't know what his status would be. I think he probably at some point will pull over if I win.
Now, you're getting slammed from some of your old adversaries about your NATO comments. Watch.
Why is Donald Trump so enamored of Putin? Well, part of it is he's a wannabe dictator. He even said the other day, let's basically get out of NATO and, encourage Putin to do what he wants.
All of us should reject the dangerous statements made by the previous president that invited Russia to invade our NATO allies if they weren't paying up.
So does this mean you're not going to defend NATO countries if they haven't paid their 2.whatever%?
Yeah, sort of. It does. We have 28 countries. We have 28 countries, and they were taking advantage tremendously. Look, the European nations. I happened to be a long time ago. My grandparents came from a place called Europe, so I love it. But they are very smart, and they took advantage. They've taken advantage of us on trade, and they've taken advantage of us on NATO. And what I did is I told them, if you don't pay up, I'm not going to defend you. And they said, I can't believe it. Nobody else ever said that. Bush came in, he made a speech, and they left. Obama came in, he made a speech. We were supporting almost 100%. In my opinion, we were paying for Europe's military, almost 100%, not 40% or 20%. They weren't paid up. And a question was asked by the head of a country, very strong question, at a big meeting one night, 28 countries. Sir, does that mean that if we don't pay, you will not defend us from Russia or whoever? I said, you say you didn't pay? You were delinquent? He said, yes. Let's say we were. I would not defend you. Now, if I said I would defend them, they wouldn't have paid. As soon as I said, that's right, that's exactly what it means, the money came pouring in, billions of dollars. And the Secretary General, who couldn't believe it because he went through Obama, he went through Bush, he went through all of them, they never paid up. Everybody owed money. Of the 28 countries, 8 had paid almost up.
Like 11 or 12 have now
Very
paid
few.
their...
Well, maybe.
But do you think Article 5 should be amended as it's currently
I think a country should have to pay. If you don't pay, why should we? Look, we have a bigger purpose than that, but they will pay. It's like Ukraine. They're not paying. We're paying. We're paying for the Ukraine much more than they are. They should be paying at least on an equal basis. They should actually be paying more. And the reason they're not is that nobody's asking them. I guarantee you, Biden, do you think Biden's calling these guys and saying, listen, fellas, you got to pay up. Pay up. Get your ass moving. Pay up. Not going to do that. He'll go,
Right now,
the guy doesn't know he's alive, okay?
And if Trump wins, will he work with some of the same Democrats who tried to sabotage him the first time?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.